Welcome to Module 3, your report and what makes up your score. A lot of people have misconceptions of what's on your credit report, what actually reports, what affects your score. So I'm just going to go through it real quick and tell you exactly what shows up on your credit report, what doesn't show up. So let's just go through this. Okay, data furnishers are typically creditors, lenders, utility debt agencies, and court. That's public records. Okay? The things that are on your credit report, your basic information, your social security number, date of birth, and employment information are used to identify you. Your employment has nothing to do with your credit score. Okay? You could be unemployed, employed. It doesn't make any difference to your credit score. Okay? The amount you make has zero to do with your credit. You can make $100,000 a year and have horrible credit. You can make $30,000 a year and have fantastic credit. The amount you make, it has no effect on your credit because it's not relevant. Okay, what is relevant is, do you pay back? Okay, you could make $100,000 a year and not pay back your creditors. Okay, so the amount you make has nothing to do with your credit. Okay, so your identifying information, your social security, date of birth, and that. Okay, trade lines. Okay, that's Visa, MasterCards, auto loans, mortgages, any public records. Okay, public records are like bankruptcies, tax liens, any judgments against you. Okay, so then you have credit inquiries. Okay, so let's say if a company does a credit inquiry on you, like you're looking for work, or you're applying for a loan, auto loan, home loan. But let me tell you something about the credit inquiries. Built into the system, there's a 30-day window. Okay, so if you're shopping around for a mortgage or a good auto loan, you can shop around. Don't worry about the multiple inquiries, by going through different companies that, check your credit. Okay, there's a 30-day window built in. So you'll only get one if you're shopping for a mortgage and you go through, 6 or 7 different mortgage companies. You're only going to have one inquiry, or you'll have the 6 inquiries or whatever, but it only count as one. Okay, same thing with an auto loan. Okay, because the bureaus know that people shop around. Public records we talked about, bankruptcies, wage attachments, liens, judgments, foreclosures. Alright, now what's not on your credit report? Okay, prepaid debit cards, checking accounts, traditional debit cards. Okay? There are some prepaids that do report. I've got a list of those for you later on in a different module that you can look at. But generally they're not. Okay? Okay, so let's see. Oh, evidence that you are now married. Okay, the bureaus don't care if you're married, single. It doesn't matter. Unless you're applying for, credit card together, which I don't recommend. Okay? Don't commingle your credit reports. It's never a good idea. Okay, the only time to do that is if you need 2 incomes to qualify for a loan. Okay, like a mortgage. Okay? But other than that, keep all your credit separate. Okay? Wealth metrics. Okay, this is what I was talking about before. Your net worth, your debt to income ratio, the amount of money in your wallet, your 401k. All of this stuff has nothing to do with your credit. Okay? Because you could be a millionaire and not pay your dets. Okay? It has nothing to do with your credit. Okay, public utilities and medical bills. Now, the only time these show up, you could pay your electric bill for 5 years straight, no problems. Then something happens, you leave the rental unit or the home or whatever, and you don't pay your last bill, and it goes into collections. Okay, when it goes into collections, it will show up on your credit. Okay, but before that, you paying it every month and all of that doesn't show up. Okay, I'm going to explain later on in a different module how to have that show up. It's not actually on your credit report, but it's on a different system. Okay, I'm going to explain that in a different module. But okay, so medical bills, all that don't show up unless it goes into collections. How is your score calculated? Okay, like we said before in the previous module about Fair Isaac, they have a mathematical formula, and what they release to the public is this formula here. I've got a little graph here. So you've got payment history, amounts owed, length of credit history, new credit, and types of credit used. Okay, which is pretty accurate, I would say. From all my experience, it's pretty accurate. Okay. Alright, so the longer you have good credit history, the better. Okay, that makes sense. If you're applying for a lot of credit, they look at it like you have financial pressure, causing you to do so. Okay. What you should do, well, I'll explain that later in a different module. But there's the breakdown, credit score ranges. Okay. Remember, we talked about the FICO score. Okay, that's done by the Fair Isaac Company. The score ranges between 300 and 850. Okay, and then I've got the breakdown of the percentages. Okay. Now let's go on to the next gen score. Okay, this is the score. It's the new FICO score. Okay, it was released in 2004. Okay, this score ranges from 150 to 950. Okay. Now, the Vantage score. Okay, this was a mathematical formula set up by the bureaus. Okay, basically to compete with FICO. Okay, remember in a previous module we talked about how FICO was software developed by a mathematician. Okay, well, they've been selling their FICO scores to the bureaus. Now the bureaus are sort of cutting them out with their own scoring system, which is called the Vantage score. And you'll see later on in another module when I pull up an actual credit report how it is an actual Vantage score. Okay. So let's go down. The newest version is 3.0. It goes from 300 to 850. These other credit scores. Okay. Let's go to the check systems and PRBC. Okay, these are systems that you can add your utilities to. Okay, but we're going to explain that. I've got a whole another module on that. But hopefully now you understand what's on your credit. Okay, so let's just a quick overview of what's on here. All your debts, like credit cards, auto loans, home loans, any public records, bankruptcies, tax liens, any judgments against you, foreclosures. Your public utilities and medical bills are not on your credit. unless they go into collection. How much you make has no effect on your credit whatsoever. Marriage doesn't matter. Keep your credit separate. And I think that's it. So let's move on to the next module.